Major fouls are established to protect the safety of the players. Both attack and defense must be aware of safety at all times. While the defender can check the opponent's cross to dislodge the ball, she must do so in a way that does not compromise the offensive player's safety. A good check is directed in such a manner as to avoid stick-to-body contact. When looking for a dangerous check, look for the defender's control and the direction of the check. Ask yourself, is the player in control? Is the check away from her opponent? Is there an actual check by the defense, or did the attack player bring her cross or body into that of the defender? Look at the space between the defender and the attacker to see if the defender's feet are in a good position. Answers to these questions will help you determine if a check is legal. Let's look at what a defender can do. Her defensive position extends for the width of her shoulders. She may not use her stick or extend her legs to expand her established position. A good and legal position of the defender is when she is between the ball carrier and the goal and she is in a ready position with her cross held firmly in front of her. Whether her cross is horizontal or vertical, the defender may touch the attack player as long as she does not unduly influence the ball carrier's direction. This contact must be made by the defender's hands and not by her extended cross. The defender may hold her ground but cannot gain ground by extending her arms. Likewise, the attacker may not gain ground by pushing through the defender. In this example, watch how the defender is in good position, is under control, and makes a solid check. Now watch as the defender attempts a check that is a dangerous one. She is out of position and does not have control. Another check that is a problem is when the defender is behind or even with the attacker and attempts to reach across the ball carrier's body for a check. This happens when the attacker is cradling in good position and the defender either leans into the attacker or reaches across for the check. In the first instance, her body is pushing the attacker. In the second instance, reaching across is a threat to the attacker's safety. Don't mistake a check from behind as illegal when the attacker is hanging her cross and the defender approaches from behind and makes a solid check down and away from the attacker. This is a great check. A major foul for checking that applies to the youth game only is the modified check or no check rule. In Level A, players may execute a modified check. In Levels B and C, players may not check at all. Let's take a look at a modified check. Here, the attack player is cradling with her cross at or below shoulder level. The defender who is in good position may check the cross, but only down and away with two hands on her stick. If the attacker's cross is above the shoulder or the defender's check is not down and away, then the play is not legal and a major foul is called. For a non-checking game, any attempted check should be considered illegal. However, not all cross-to-cross contact is illegal, and you will need to determine if the defender was trying to check the offensive player, which is illegal, or if the offensive player caused the cross-to-cross contact during a pass or shot, which is not illegal. Two major fouls that are difficult to call are the block and charge. A block occurs when the defender cuts in front of the attacker and does not allow her any time or space to avoid a collision. And the converse is when the attack player charges through the defense when the defender has already established her position. To help make this call, look for the person initiating the contact. Look for a player pushing out her hip or a knee to impede her opponent. Look for the attacker dropping her shoulder. The same criteria for the block and charge can also be applied to a pick. A pick is legal if it is set within a player's visual field. A blind pick is not legal in lacrosse. The defender must have adequate time and space to avoid the pick. To make these calls, look for the same things as a block. Who initiates contact? Did the player push her hips or knee out? Did either player drop her shoulder? Was the pick set behind the defender and outside of her visual field? One major foul that must be called immediately is obstruction of free space to goal. Often called obstruction or shooting space, this is a very serious foul and must be called as soon as it occurs. Obstruction happens when a defender, or even the goalie if she is outside of the goal circle, who is not marking an attack player steps between the ball carrier and the goal. Marking, which is legal, is playing defense when within a stick's length of the attacker. The obstruction made by the defender denies the attack player the opportunity to shoot safely. If the attacker decides to shoot and hits the unprotected defender, then a dangerous propelling call must be made on the attacker. Obstruction is often very difficult to see and can happen very quickly. However, if the call is not made immediately, the attacker has a responsibility not to shoot into an unprotected player. Watching for obstruction is one of the key responsibilities of the trail official. 3 seconds in the 8-meter arc is a defensive foul that occurs when a defender is inside of the 8-meter arc, wholly or partially, but is not marking her opponent within a stick's length. When a defender is not marking appropriately, she will often move into the shooting space of an opposing attack player. Clearly, this presents an extremely dangerous position for her, and she is also obstructing the free space to goal, which denies the attack player the opportunity to shoot safely. So, the umpire must always be mindful of this very dangerous position, and, when the attack has the opportunity and is looking to shoot, must make a shooting space call immediately. If the umpire has not made a shooting space call and the attack player shoots at an unprotected player, the umpire must card the attack player for dangerous propelling. While there are other major fouls, we have shown you the most common ones. Remember, every player has a responsibility to avoid contact with other players. That said, contact will occur in the game. When there is contact, the umpire must determine whether the contact was incidental, which should not be penalized, or the result of an illegal act such as a block, a charge, holding, detaining, tripping, pushing, and so forth. Other types of illegal contact result when a player initiates cross-to-body contact or body-to-cross contact. Questions umpires should ask themselves when determining the legality of the contact include: was sufficient time and space provided? Did the defender allow the attack player enough time and space to change the direction of her path? Or did the attack player not allow the defender time and space to change her positioning? Who initiated the contact? Did the defensive player extend her established defensive position and create contact? Or did the attack player make contact and change the defensive player's established position? What type of contact occurred? Was it body to body, stick to body, or body to stick?